You're welcome to another interesting edition of the Economy and Politics Show, where we discuss key developments in the economy as it affects the households. Today, we'll be looking at improving the competitiveness of sub-nationals. And my guest is Mr. Segun Showunmi, a public affairs analyst, and also a gubernatorial aspirant under the platform of the People's Democratic Party in Ogun State. It's nice to have you on the show.
Thank you for having me, Ottoabasi. How are you? How's everybody at Prussia?
We're very good. And a happy Easter Monday to you.
Same to you. May the Holy Week and the Week of Passion bring the best for us all.
Thank you. Before we begin, let us give you a wrap of key events that occurred from last week. The European Union ambassadors in Nigeria, while paying a courtesy call on the management of Nigeria National Petroleum Corporation, called for enhanced partnership with Nigeria in the energy sector. This comes at a time the EU is seeking alternative in gas supply following the disruptions from the Russian aggression in Ukraine. Also last week, President Muhammadu Buhari sent a request to the Senate of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, requesting for the upper chamber to approve an increase in the oil benchmark by $11 per barrel from $62 to $73 per barrel. The President also sought a reduction in the projected oil production volume by 283,000 barrels per day from 1,883 million barrels per day to 1.6 million barrels per day. We go on a break, and when we return, we'll continue this interesting conversation.
Tune in to Web TV Daily to stay up to date and informed on the financial market, personal finance, and more. We have got you covered with all your favorite TV shows, economy and politics, market review, women's series, millennial talk, Islamic Finance Weekly, The Brief, exclusive interviews, events, and we keep you up to date on all the updates in the financial market with the market opening gong. Watch premium content. Watch Web TV. Same news, different perspective.
Welcome back. If you're joining us, it's the Economy and Politics Show, and the conversation today is on improving the competitiveness of sub-nationals. And my guest, Mr. Segun Showunmi, public affairs analyst, and also the PDP gubernatorial aspirant for Ogun State ahead of 2023 general elections. First, Mr. Segun, recently the Revenue Mobilization Allocation Fiscal Commission proposed a new formula to the president. I just want you to take a look at this whole formula and the implication for states as one intending to vie for that top position by 2023. The federal government takes 45.17%, states have 29.79%, and local governments 21.04%. There's been a lot of clamor for the need to review the revenue sharing formula to improve allocation to the states and local governments. So what's your take on this?
I think that one of the reasons why it seems like the conversation around restructuring through federalism never goes away in Nigeria borders on the kinds of ideas we run by way of our revenue sharing and also our power sharing model. It is not right for us to be in a federation and expect that the national, which has less responsibilities, will have more resources than states and local government where the people that needs to be served are. The responsibilities that the federal government borders itself with, a significant number of them are better run as states. If you do not have land, what's the point in having so much effort on farming from the federal, other than policy? If you do not have land, why are you too bothered about having too many federal roads within states and within regions? Yes, some elements of federal roads can exist for the major trunk that moves you from maybe all the major trunking to the federal, connecting the country together. But what's the need and the point in all of the federal roads that are crisscrossing states that are hardly getting attention, even when the states have some resources or some financial engineering arrangements that can allow them to bring private sector? It's a problem. What's the point in having a federal structure that is having a lot of challenge with policing and security that also doesn't will or wish to allow police to have? So everything is wrong with it. But I do not really blame the federal government when it comes to this issue. Neither do I blame the executive. I laid the problem squarely on the foot of the legislature. Between 1999 to date, the cry and clamor for true federalism, fiscal federalism, resource review of the legislature to handle. It's painful that it doesn't matter how many sessions, 8 or 7, or maybe even the 9th that they are in, they have not deemed it fit to be able to resolve the issue. So whatever the federal government is doing, the federal government is doing it and getting away with it because the legislature who have a responsibility to make sure that federalism runs on a principle that allows us to be able to say which type of federalism are we practicing. If we say we're practicing the American system, surely we're not implementing it. If we say we're doing that of the French, we don't seem to be following it. If we say we're following that of the Germans, we don't seem to be following it. If we say we're doing that of South Africa, so it's as if we're creating our own Nigerian style federalism, which is not all in itself bad, because there is no one way to democracy. But we have seen that it's not even working for us. It's not allowing states to do and pull their weights. We're running a feeding bottle economy. We're putting too much resources at the federal because we think that we can only find responsible leaders at the federal, forgetting that those who we put in leadership position at the federal were originally people that came from hamlets, local government and state. So I think we need to figure out a way where we make the middle a little bit bigger. And in this scenario, our middle is the state. So rather, we left what we gave to the local government, we brought what we gave to the federal to the state, and we took what we gave to the state to the federal. That would be like a more reasonable way to make sure that the man has a robust middle to be able to manage it. But again, we can agonize, we can advocate, we can talk. If the people that have the responsibility, either as governors or as presidents or as legislators, don't do what they are supposed to do, then we're going to be stuck with the same thing. So I believe that the best way around is going forward. The Nigerian citizens themselves should be interested in the views of those they want to put in office on some of these very, very important issues.
All right, Mr. Segun Showunmi, yes, you talked about the National Assembly. Now, this ninth National Assembly recently voted in terms of amending the Constitution, several critical parts, and it's interesting that the resolutions have shown prospects for interesting times for states. For example, the value-added tax has been moved to the concurrent list. Also, the airport, prisons, power generation, distribution, and transmission. A part of those things have been moved from the exclusive to concurrent list. We await the final voting by States House of Assemblies to affirm this. Isn't this part of the game-changing effects we expect from the legislature? And this is a good development for those who aspire for this position like you.
No. There's never been any legislature, not the 8th, not the 7th, not the 6th, not the 5th, not even the 1st, that have not tried to tell us that they have done some reforms. I mean, it's always a work in progress. What we are saying is not to indict this particular assembly, is to say that the cry for these things have been consistent from the days of the last republics. Even before the military truncated, the conversation has always been around true federalism. I'm sure the word restructuring, you've heard it over and over. Now that I've also noticed that they're beginning to present something that resembles an improvement. For instance, prison, state police, airport, and all of that. We'll have to say, well done. Better late than never.
Yeah.
We now need to hurry it up and get it passed. But what I'm saying is that any federal system that seeks to pay the executive at the federal level more than it pays the constituent parts at the state, and more than it pays the minute small part at the lower run of the local government is top heavy. And you cannot design a serious economic pyramid if you are going from the top down. You need to be figuring out how to do it from bottoms up. The VAT argument for me is neither here nor there, because I always say to myself, shall those who want all of the VAT in their states, are they able to say that all of the investments that have been put there by the federal government to generate the ability to generate the VAT, are they monies only belonging to them? I think we should have a bit of give and take. Our desire must be to have a Nigeria that works for all Nigerians. Our desire may be to have a Nigeria that is sustainable, driving in competition, healthy competition to make sure that every part of Nigeria is just beautiful. All the states in America don't pay the same wage bill, but there's no state in America that does not strive to pay a living wage. That's the type of thing we should aspire to. We mustn't desire to have a beautiful southern part of Nigeria and a miserable and frustrated northern part. No, we must desire to have a Nigeria that is equitable for all. And whatever it is that we have now, by way of structure, we must work it in such a way that no part of the country is prevented from developing at its pace. Perhaps even those ones who are lagging behind now may begin to be, primordially stimulated to want to improve themselves. Nobody wants to be the last in any race. Somebody comes first, somebody comes second. Naturally, somebody will come last. But if it's such that it is razor close, you can hardly split it, then it becomes unnecessary what position you have. But if the gap is so much, then we should know that the places where we don't have development will overwhelm the places we have development. You can see it from the movement of our people to Europe and America and all that. We are almost decolorizing their area. From a time when you went abroad, you had a few Black people and the place was still very white. Now you have thriving Black communities in other people's country, producing and procreating at a rate that may even tilt the color balance of the area. What am I trying to say? There's no point wanting to have Ururu in your area. You must be desirous of a healthy balance for the entire country, because human migration is very, very consistent with the way mankind have grown. Therefore, we must strive for a Nigeria that works for all Nigerians, be it at revenue mobilization, at VAT, or even at the principle of true federalism. That's my position. And so I commend them, but I'll say that is exactly what their job ought to be. And the earlier they get to sign up to read, the better for everybody.
Mr. Segun Showunmi, thank you very much. We've seen your work as the DG of the communications team that did a great work last election for the major opposition leader, then Alhaji Atiku Abubakar, 2019 elections. Now you're vying for the top job of Ogun State. Ogun State is a strategic state in Nigeria, an industrial hub. There are some challenges, but we'd like to know your clear agenda for representing these states. My observation in Ogun State is the challenge of infrastructure. I mean, take example, the roads leading to a place like Langwe, it's quite in a deplorable state. But just tell us around your core pillars of governance strategy that you have, because what Nigeria needs is quality governance beyond politics.
Thank you. Let me put it this way. I am vying to lead Ogun, if I'm allowed, because I think everything is wrong with the developmental trajectory and the mode of implementation we're running now. Take infrastructure that you're talking about. It makes very little sense if all of your money under the guise of infrastructure is going to insist and not aid you to grow the local economy. There's too much capital flight the way they're doing it. I believe that it is time now to do the indigenization of contracts in Ogun. Anyone who wants to do business in Ogun should either be resident in Ogun or have somebody that is resident in Ogun in that business so we can retain some of our own values. I also believe that we have reached a point where we must grow the local economy. My idea of growing it is to make sure that we have a massive injection of new money into the hands of existing small businesses, because it is from the small, medium-sized businesses that you're going to be able to employ more people, you're going to be able to grow the economy, and you're going to generate more wealth. You can't insist that your only economic agenda is private-public sector partnership, especially when your idea of private-public sector partnership is to farm out all the goodies to your friends who are your capitalist colleagues that want to own everything at the expense of everybody. I believe that you must make the state open for anybody that wants to do business. If you have a brain fart on business, you should be able to come to Ogun State and be sure that all the red tapes of bureaucracy that prevents people from activating their views and objectives will not happen here. That's that. I think that the state is damn too dirty. I think we need to instill a new culture of reorientation around cleanliness and what have you. I was in Akwa Ibom a couple of days back, and I was amazed at how clean the environment is, even the rural area. That's something I think we need to copy there. I think our education model is not working. It needs to be rethink. You need to think out with it. You can't have post 60 years of Obafemi and Awolowo and not understand that we are ripe now to have free early primary, early nursery school for children. Because when they come to school at that age, age 6, and they've not had any form of pre-nursery or pre-primary, you have made them disadvantaged to their colleague. I think you cannot say you are helpless for security. You must put a biometric capture of people to a verifiable address as a minimum way of guaranteeing where they are, who they are, and what they are, and where they stay. So that in your likely event that they commit a crime, at least you can go chase them, you can find them, you can convert them into fugitive, and you can reduce the number. I do not believe that you can continue to run health without worrying about how it tangentially touches the people. I believe that we have gotten to the point now where, okay, enough of all this infrastructure building and procurement. We now need to be thinking about how does service delivery get to them. I think we're not doing enough in human capital development. I think that we have not lit up Ogun. Our colleagues in Oyo have done it. Light up Oyo is so beautiful. I even pity Lagos. I was in Lagos last night and I noticed that I saw the difference immediately. In Oyo, everywhere you go now, it's bright light throughout the night, reducing crime and all of that. I've not seen us do that in Ogun. So we need to light up Ogun so that people can at least feel safe. We can generate a second economy called the night economy. More importantly, I think we have a major issue with moral decadence, misbehavior, misdemeanors, and all of the things that make it difficult for us to say life is going on well. We are almost at the Hobbesian level where life is short, brutish, and difficult to explain. So we need to stem it up. We need to get ourselves properly led. Those are the kinds of things we need to be doing. I'm going to be heavy on security. I'm not just talking about just running up and down the street claiming that you're doing security. No, I'm rewriting the complete architecture for it, starting with a low Earth orbit satellite that will look at the state. I'm looking to light it up so that we can then take better advantage with eyes in the sky. I'm looking to have them to a verifiable address by biometrics so we can know the people and plan for them. I want them to start their own model of having regularized improvement in their health by getting rebates from the drugs, first of all, as the first step, and as a second step, dividing them to doctors who are under obligation to look after them. I want us to start our own social contract, the type that allows our people to run to other countries. I'm interested in us having a state that is very clean. If I have to sweep the floor myself, just to let them get the point, I'm prepared to do it, but they will not be a people that are egalitarian, educated, and sophisticated, and they will be dirty. If I have to shame them with what's going on in some other locations like Akwa Ibom and Enugu, which I found very clean, just so that they get the point. I'm not going to accept that the wealth of Ogun is going to enjoy only capital flight with people that don't live there. It's time to make Ogun work for Ogun indigenes. It's time to make our contract work for our citizens. It's time to make our commerce work for ourselves. We're going to embark on the most ambitious cash intervention into the hands of those that are already having small businesses. What that does for us is that allows them to expand a little bit, but more importantly, it allows them to take on new hands. So if you're a hairdresser, I'm going to give you more money so that you can buy one more equipment, so that you can take one more youth off the street for me. That's the whole idea. We're going to convert the place into a working model. We're going to fix our border towns. I'm going to be very, very strict with urban development because I can't imagine how shanties will now begin to dwarf our city centers. There's quite a lot of work to do. May God help us. But one thing is certain, I am the type of man that is required now. And me, the people of Ogun, and the good Lord, because we're a praying people, help me to be able to be that governor that they will know this one has come to serve us, and he will indeed serve us.
Thank you very much, Mr. Segun Showunmi. And in just 30 seconds, there's always a challenge with when governors or someone is elected into office, sustaining projects that work for the state. Do you make that commitment that if you win the Ogun State elections in 2023, that the viable projects that is for the common good that was led by your predecessor will be sustained? Because always this challenge, and then again, we have to go back and to drawing board and those challenges.
One block is yellow. Another one is roofed red. Another one is green. I don't see the need for that. I don't see the sense in the way we're developing. Some of the marginal gains that Lagos has done is simply because they have at least been consistent in terms of their roadmap. I believe that we've not been doing that in Ogun. I must commend that to some extent in that regard. I've noticed that he's not really avoided stuff, but he himself, I think, is too much of an absentee landlord. And I plan to be more hands-on, more available, more able to be connected to, more able to be seen, more able to be reached, more able to be spoken to, and more able to sit with them so that we can jointly give Ogun the type of Ogun that all of us we'll be proud of. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Segun Showunmi, for the time. Multiple public affairs analyst, communication expert, and also the People's Democratic Party aspirant for the position of governor for Ogun State in the 2023 general elections. Wish you all the best ahead of the primaries coming up in May.
Best of luck. Give my regards to member of your team.
Yes, thank you very much.
I must tell you, I'm still excited reading your book. I've not finished in the BBO Nation. There's just so much stories there. At a point, I'm even asking myself, are the BBOs not even more than the Igbos in this country because of the things that I'm discovering there? Well done for that. It was a great effort. Bye.
So thank you very much. That was Mr. Segun Showunmi, the People's Democratic Party gubernatorial aspirant for Ogun State in the forthcoming 2023 general elections. The conversation today was the opportunities for driving competitiveness in sub-nationals in Nigeria. And if you have questions, comments, suggestions around this, please send them to Ottoabasi Abasiekong@prochange.com. Also, visit our website, www.prochange.com, to get the latest stories around the build-up to the 2023 general elections and even the sub-national elections we're expecting this year in Osun and Ekiti states. We have them all captured for you. Also, follow our social media platforms displayed on the screen. This is just to tell our viewers that this period between now and even down from May is the political cycle. As you can see, several people have declared their intention to lead Nigeria and also at the sub-national level. So we will be engaging several aspirants to get to know what their strategy is and their policies, and also be monitoring developments around the May primaries across major parties in the country. So just expect that from now on, you'll be getting to know our aspirants and those aspiring to lead the country and their policies and strategies. That will be what will be happening going forward. So expect much of this as you've seen today. Just wishing you a happy Easter Monday. Thank you for being part of the show and have a lovely day.